Welcome to Theory of Pets. I'm a passionate pet owner with a drive to help others like me uncover the truth about the pet industry and what goes on behind the scenes.
In this podcast, we're going to be talking about a multitude of things. If you have an adult senior dog, then you need to listen to this. If your dog is overweight, then you need to listen to this. If you feed your dog commercial dog food, then you need to listen to this. If you have a dog that is being cooked homemade dog food, then you need to listen to this. Why? Well, because as our dogs age, they become less spry, just like in humans do, because their bodies slowly break down. Now, I'm not here to scare you. It doesn't happen that quick. Like from 1 minute, they go from healthy to barely able to walk. But they do age faster than us, and so sometimes it can seem that way. And when that happens, it is a part of life, but it's also a product of their environment. What do I mean by that? Well, for example, a dog that has been overweight his whole life will probably start to slow down faster. Let's just list off some possible reasons he's slowing down and ages faster. His weight is hard on his joints. He's not as agile, and if he lives in a home where he can slip and fall one day, he may not be able to catch himself, and one bad slip could put him out of commission. His diet may be plenty of or too much calories, but missing the right supplementation to keep up with the wear and tear on his joints from his extra weight. I can give you another example. If you have just a regular adult or senior dog who has been fed a commercial diet, well, listen up. Obviously, we can't all afford homemade cooked dog food or those brands out there like Farmer's Dog or Ollie. So we opt for the next best thing. What is that? Commercial dog food. It's abundant, there's hundreds of brands out there, and it's cheap. What's not to love about that? Well, several years down the road, you start to notice your dog may start to slow down. And then all of a sudden, a health issue. Maybe it's a back issue, or your dog can't go up or down the stairs. Maybe it was a nasty spill, and now they have hip problems. Well, where am I going with all this? What does this all mean? Well, in both scenarios I just went through, both dogs would have benefited from what is called supplementation. You bring your dog to the vet and you tell them what's going on, and they will just easily prescribe you a supplement that sits on their shelf. I mean, who could blame them? But supplementation is not to be confused as a cure, because supplementation has its place in a dog's life, but you don't want to throw the kitchen sink at your dog. In fact, you can give your dog too many supplements. Well, in that case, what does all this mean? What the heck do we do? Well, that's why I've invited the co-founder of PetMatrx, Will, on today. We're going to be talking about supplements and over-supplementation and how PetMatrx is going about dealing with this issue. And their approach is actually something I've never heard of before. So I hope you enjoy this podcast and stay tuned. Hey, Will, thanks for joining me today. I'm really excited about our conversation.
Hey, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Connor. I appreciate it.
Well, so why don't we go ahead and jump right in? Why don't you tell everyone about the origin of your company, PetMatrx, and how this all ties together?
Yeah, absolutely. My story starts a lot like I'm sure a lot of your audience's story is trying to find help for their dog. It was, we have a 9-year-old rescue. Her name is Bay. She's a Pity Vizsla mix. And, just like with every dog, lots of inherent problems. She had more than most. Everything from arthritis, diagnosed with arthritis as she was younger, to crazy allergies, skin inflammation. Picking at her paws constantly. Everything would basically, irritate her body, and she had this outward response. And so at the time, my wife and I and my sister, who is the director of education here at PetMatrx, we were working with a biotech company on human wellness. And as we started to really start our journey and looking to help our dog, we started realizing real quick that the supplement market space for dogs was very convoluted. There were so many people out there, and it was hard to really find the answers that we were looking for, because coming from, a biotech company and understanding the physiological makeup of humans and how it's not much different, if at all, from a dog, Summer really started talking with the chief science officer of the lab and putting together some amazing help for our dog. And so through that, we were then able to put together an amazing line of supplements that really solved the problems that we saw out there in the supplement space. And that is the delivery of these compounds to the dogs with the least amount of waste and taxation on their organs as possible, because then that creates a whole new issue of problems. So through that, I can tell you now that Bay is, she was getting, what are those allergy shots? Cytopoint, I think they were Cytopoint shots. She was on medication and basically kind of masking over everything, not getting any help. And to date, she is shot-free, medication-free. She runs like the wind now. We take her to the beach, and she's got no after effects of limping or problems. And so we really nailed, hit the nail on the head in regards to the supplements. And so just kind of like with everybody, the company was founded out of need, and thank goodness that we were in a space and in a position to really help her. And now we can share that help with, the canine community.
Yeah, very interesting. So I guess this will tee up the next question here. Just so explain to me like what her typical diet was. And then I guess it kind of goes into, I don't know necessarily what you were feeding her, but I imagine, most of us here, I, for one, I've definitely fed my dog commercial dog food. So I guess explain her diet and how that ties into like what kind of missing nutrients and vitamins that she was missing, and how the supplements that you originally thought that she was being prescribed wasn't necessarily working.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just like, again, like everybody, we were feeding her kibble. An expensive kibble that was better, than the super commercial kind of dog food companies. We thought we were doing a good job. And, it's important to understand that supplementation as a whole is exactly that. It's a supplement. It's meant to fill gaps, okay? Gaps in nutritional deficiencies and whatnot. And so, you can't supplement your dog to health. Okay, you can use supplementation as an addition to a healthy diet, a well-rounded, activity, calendar with them, making sure they're getting their walks, making sure they're getting stimulated on so many levels. So through that whole kind of rabbit hole that we went down, we then took her off of the, processed commercial kibble and moved her into more of now a raw diet. It's what we believe in. And with that and the proper nutritional supplements that obviously we give to her has really aided in the overall health and well-being of her.
Okay. And what specifically, I know you said she had her allergy shots, but what other, I guess, nutrients did you notice maybe that she was missing from her high-end kibble?
Right. I think it's important to understand the difference between the commercial dog food companies and, really taking hold of your dog's diet and trying to do the best you can with it. And that their focus is calories.
Yeah.
Okay. Giving the dog the calories that they need, the energy that they need to get throughout the day. Calories do not equal nutrition. Okay. So you could be giving your dog their caloric intake on a daily basis through the, processed foods, the fillers, the excipients that they put in there. These are all kind of low hanging fruit for energy for the dogs, starches, carbohydrates, things like that. And so it's going to give them the energy to get through the day, but then it's going to be really chipping away at their already fragile systems. Oxidative stress is a major component in attributing to shortening your dog's already short life, and so understanding that if you're feeding your dog commercial food, they're getting the calories. So now what you need to do is you need to figure out what nutrients that they're missing and give them the nutritional benefits. And that's really where supplementation can jump in and help, because feeding specific ways like raw and even, semi-cooked food and things like that, it can get expensive. It can get time consuming, and it's a massive commitment. So if you can just really kind of get down to the nitty gritty of getting a better food supplement for
Mm-hmm.
them, even if it is kibble, even if it is commercial, and then adding a high quality supplement to that, then you'll really kind of start seeing some turnarounds within your dog. Everything from behavior to their to their skin to their yeah, everything that you notice within your dog, all their ailments and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So I guess now, perfect opportunity here. Now there's plenty of supplement brands out there. Now, can you like walk me through what the difference is with PetMatrx? And I guess you can also, well, I guess you can first explain what's happening in the supplement industry. What's happening with these supplements? Is our dog really absorbing these said supplements that are prescribed by vets, or people just going to buy on the shelf? And then, like, what's different about PetMatrx?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it revolves all around the science and the delivery. See, when you look at all the pet supplement companies out there and they say, scientifically backed, the data proves, all these types of words, what they're doing is they are relying on previous data and science on the actual compounds themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
let's just talk about curcumin, an amazing anti-inflammatory found in nature. The data and the research shows that they're extremely beneficial for our dogs. But the problem with curcumin is the delivery of it, and the fact that curcumin has a bioavailability, a rate at which it can be absorbed at between 1% and 5%. And so if you're giving your dog, curcumin, and they're only absorbing that amount of it, then the bigger problem is what's happening to the waste. And, we
Mm-hmm.
can talk about that in a minute, but solving the problem was basically our biochemists getting together and saying, look, we're already doing this in the human space. And so we can now apply it to dogs. And basically, it's taking these phytonutrients, these polyphenols, these flavonoids that we all love, chamomile, magnolia bark, curcumin, go down the list. And these lipids are what's known as non-polar charged compounds. This is important because water, H2O, is a polar charged compound. Our dogs are made up of 65% or more water. And more importantly, their blood plasma, which is responsible for carrying the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients to the cells, is made up of 95% water. So the reason that oil and water don't mix, we've all heard that, is because oil is non-polar charged and water is polar charged. What we've been able to do is take these non-polar charged compounds, bind them to water, putting them into a fully aqueous form. We then freeze dry it. And now what you have is you have curcumin at 100% bioavailability, zero waste, with all of the nutritional benefits. And we do that with all of our compounds within our product. So now what you're doing is you're getting all the benefits. Your dog's getting all the benefits, not getting any waste. So you're not taxing their organs. And that's really where the massive benefit is within this, is that the organs are not having to, the liver specifically is not having to break down these compounds. It is ingested orally right on top of their food. It gets directly into the bloodstream within 5 minutes, crossing the blood-brain barrier and affecting all the vital areas of the body that it can really impact.
It sounds like these supplements, basically what's going on in the current supplement world is these compounds have studies where they may be beneficial or they are beneficial, but because of how the way I guess the way dogs ingest the supplements, it's just, for whatever reason, it doesn't make it to wherever it needs to be supplied to because it goes through the digestive system versus the, I guess I'm just paraphrasing, but I guess how would it, like, the difference between the digestive system and then the blood-brain barrier where it's ingested or where it's absorbed immediately? Can you explain the difference there?
Yeah, absolutely. Explaining the difference, first, let's start with understanding the basic six processes of the digestive system, right? So you have ingestion, you have propulsion, the act of swallowing, right? Then you have mechanical, chemical. Then in the fifth stage, so as it's being broken down, going through the intestines, the liver is releasing all of the enzymes and whatnot. And what's happening is you're slowly chiseling away at the compound. So by the time you get to the fifth process, that's when absorption happens. So what everybody tries to do is bypass the digestive process, because that's when you lose everything. So by the time curcumin travels through all those processes, you got about 1 to 5% left. Then that's absorbed, and then excretion happens, the final process. So with us, what happens is when you ingest it, your body recognizes it as water. Okay, a polar charged compound. And so what happens is once ingestion happens, it gets to the propulsion stage and it realizes it doesn't have to be broken down. You don't have to go through the mechanical, you don't have to go through the chemical, and it gets directly into the bloodstream. And so that is really the secret sauce, that makes PetMatrx different than everybody else out there. And this is being used. Okay, this technology is being used in the human wellness space through the lab that we worked with prior to moving into PetMatrx a year and a half to 2 years ago. And it's also used very readily in the pharmaceutical industry because they understand that when they prescribe you a medication, they have to give you the amount that is just enough. They don't want a lot of waste because they know that the medications wreak a ton of havoc on your internal organs, right? There's a Latin saying used in the pharmaceutical industry known as quantum satis. And quantum satis is the amount which is just enough. Okay, so we use that philosophy within giving our dogs supplements through PetMatrx because it's more important in dogs than it is for humans because of their shortened lifespan, 7 to 10 times shorter than us, because they have a 7 to 10 times more active metabolic rate. So, we have to protect the organs by not taxing them, by giving the benefits that they're looking for through the supplements.
Interesting. Okay. And so I know you mentioned this is the secret sauce of PetMatrx. So what compounds are there specific compounds in your guys' supplements that when it's ingested, the brain goes, oh, don't need to digest? How does that happen? What is the makeup of that? And to us non-biochemists there, and why that's revolutionary?
Yeah, absolutely. So to try not to get too technical with it, all right? Basically, we use a host molecule, okay, natural, found in nature, okay? And this molecule is interesting because it has two charges. It has a polar charged outer and what's known as a non-polar cavity inside. The issue with it is getting there, okay, getting to that inside and binding these non-polar charged lipids to it. So using a natural process in the lab, what we're able to do is open this compound, okay, then the lipids get trapped inside, it closes, and now what you have is a polar charged compound. It's kind of like a Trojan horse. We're hiding it in the inside, and now the body recognizes it. Now we can bind that to the water. Once that's bound to the water, now the body recognizes it as water, and it's delivered directly to the cells.
Very interesting. So that tees up this next part. I know you were saying how in the medical field for humans that they don't want to prescribe, such high dosages of medication because it wreaks havoc. It strains the organs.
Yeah.
Now, I guess, so explain to us exactly what happens. So when a dog gets just prescribed supplements, just regular basic supplements, and it's a lot, or like some for joints, some for allergies, Let's just say it's a host of different types of supplements. What happens when a dog is just continuously fed a bunch of supplements? Like what happens to those organs? Why does it break? Why do the organs break down?
When you introduce, okay, a foreign substance to the body, those are called xenobiotics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, xenobiotics are broken down by a family of enzymes known as cytochrome P450. Okay, the liver is mainly responsible for releasing this to break down these foreign substances because they have to be broken down. A lipid, you can't. Lipids cannot go directly into your bloodstream. That's why they have to put them into aqueous forms. So as the xenobiotics are ingested, these cytochrome P450 liver enzymes are released. Now, the problem with releasing too many of these, okay, is that this can cause everything from hepatotoxicity. This can cause fatty liver disease, right? And then more importantly, it can't break down everything. And what it can't break down, so now what happens is you're having a toxic bloodstream. So if your dog is getting lethargic, you're like, oh, these aren't working. They might be working on a very small level, but you're giving them too much of it or too many different types of supplements. Okay. And their bodies, their internals are working overtime to get rid of this. And then whatever doesn't get broken down, okay, now sits on the liver, okay, gets stored as fat. And that then can create another whole host of issues. I mean, you go down the line, and I believe that this is because no one's really trying to solve this problem. No one's talking about this problem. I believe in the next 5 to 10 years, veterinary clinics are going to start seeing more and more dogs coming in with undiagnosed problems. And they're going to then start tracking it backwards, okay, realizing that these dogs are being over-supplemented because they're trying to supplement their dog into health. They're seeing all these ads and all these marketing. If your dog is feeling like this, so, cure it with this supplement. If your dog's feeling like this, so give them this supplement within a week, it'll work and it'll help. And they're, throwing darts at a board, hoping that something sticks. And for some dogs, it will stick. And for all the other ones, they're not worried about it. They're just trying to get to the ones that stick. And so that is then going to just, again, in my estimation, create a whole host of problems in the next 5 to 10 years.
And so I guess the next question I would ask is, you have more than one supplement. Could you explain to us why you chose those certain areas to help dogs and what those specific areas are that your products focus on?
Right. So when we were developing our products, we really, because it's our lab, right, we have the ability to work backwards, reverse engineer things. Many of the companies out there, white label or private label, they go to a manufacturer who can provide them with, a supplement, regimen, and they go, yeah, this is great. They check off a list from a menu and they go, great, slap a label on it, and now we just need the marketing machine to move. We do it different. Okay, we start with the problem and then work backwards. Now, when we were developing our lines, we were developing it all around what we believe to be the 3 pillars of a dog's health. Actually, I have a link that we can share with your listeners to get a free download of our magazine called The Science of Pet Wellness. And we talk specifically about these 3 pillars and bioavailability. So we can share that with them later. But building it around that is what we believe to be a well-rounded dog, given, the greatest ability to live a long, healthy life. That's what we're all looking for our dogs. So if you tackle these 3 areas, you can achieve that. So we start with a protection for a dog. right? How does a dog protect itself? Internally, it protects it with its gut. Externally, from pathogens and what's not, its immune system. Now, they're all interconnected. So we came out with a product called Protect. Now, we go about healing the gut differently than most companies do. If you talk about gut health, almost every company talks about probiotics, prebiotics, and now I think they're even coming out with postbiotics. I mean, it's crazy how many biotics are there. And I'm a huge proponent of probiotics. Okay, understanding CFUs, how many colony forming units they need, and the different strains and everything. I'm well versed in it. But if you're just throwing probiotics at a gut that is already leaky, and you're not healing the inflammation, and you're not sealing that gut lining, you're just really kind of throwing money down the drain. Your dog's not going to get the full benefits from it. So we really heal the gut and seal the gut lining with amazing peptide known as BPC 157, handle the inflammation with curcumin and a whole host of other compounds, again with what we have coined cell matrix delivery. CMD is what the vehicle is to deliver these compounds directly to the cells. Then secondly, so that's the Protect. Secondly is mobility and overall joint structure, right? In order to have a happy, healthy dog for a long time, they need exercise. They're built, okay, to get exercise, to be out there. They don't synthesize vitamin D from the sun, but they get hormonal release, okay, from just being in the sun. If you've ever seen my dog, her name is Bay. We call it sunbathing because you will find a warm spot in the house, okay, where the sun's coming in, and she would just lay there and her head and her eyes up, and you see her nose going crazy. It's getting all moist, and she just loves it. She's getting hormonal release, and they need that. They need that, stimulates them in other ways. And so we created a product called Move. Now, we help again with the anti-inflammation, the overall joint structure, the bones and the ligaments, making sure that they're structurally sound, and really keep them moving is the idea. So that's the second pillar. And the third pillar, which is commonly overlooked, is cognitive function and awareness and protecting the cells. So we have a product called Think, and this really helps with their cognitive function, suppressing their nervous system. So you're getting a not such an overreactive dog, because an overreactive dog also contributes to the oxidative stress, reducing their timeline within their life, which is exactly what oxidative stress does. I have a very personal experience with a dog in cognitive decline, and maybe your audience can relate to this. Is that I had a 15-year-old Chihuahua. His name was Miggs, and his body was able. Okay, he was healthy. You would call him a little sausage. All right, he'd run around. He's healthy. He's strong. He lost it. He had zero cognitive function. He was like starting to walk into walls at the end, and it's like, okay, is he alive for himself or is he alive for us at this point? And unfortunately, for what we felt was a betterment of him, we had to put him down. But that was a tough thing to watch, because it's like he's healthy. He'll run around and he'll have his moments. This moments of cognitive awareness, and it's like, oh, there he is. But it was just in such decline. So we really wanted to add a product in here to help with the overall cognitive function, the protecting the cells from neurodegeneration and whatnot. We're in this constant state of needing to replace and flush out the old bad cells and replace it with good, healthy new cells, and nutrition plays a big piece of that. So basically around the three areas of what we believe to be able to benefit a dog's life overall, now and for the future.
Very cool. So, very, very cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you because I figured you see it, but what is the most common, as a business owner, what is the most common, or one of the, I guess you could say, the one or two biggest ones that you see, or I guess which product of yours do people buy the most in today's society?
Well, I think that most people end up running to the move for the
Mm-hmm.
mobility because, and that's because that's the thing that they can see with their eyes, that they witness
Mm-hmm.
the most. You know, their
Yeah,
dog's
yeah.
having a hard time getting off the couch or even jumping up on the couch,
Yep.
doesn't want to go for walks anymore. You know, things like that. But then they do realize that that is also a function of their gut and their immune system. You know, it all really ties together. Trying
Mm-hmm.
to just, you know, specifically go after one ailment with the dog is a difficult proposition, because understanding that they do tie together. The gut does help with mobility.
Yeah.
Having a healthy immune system helps with their ability and wants to go outside and not be lethargic, which then helps their mobility as well.
Yeah.
So I say it starts with move, but protect is really close there. And then once people get a hold of the think, you know, we call it our Thrive package, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
we do offer a discount for getting all three because we want people to have a well-rounded dog. But the gut and the mobility is really what people are moving towards real quick.
Interesting, because I also think it, you know, like you said, it is the one that you can see the most effect. Like, you know, you can actually lay eyes. You can't like look into their stomach being like, yeah, it looks like there's a lot of gut bacteria in here. But
Yeah,
I think it's also probably a testament to overfeeding. I think a lot of people probably overfeed their dog, you know,
a
like
lot.
my dog is super lean because that's just the type of breed. And we have her on a healthy diet, and but my my mother-in-law was saying how she looks skinny, and but again, at the same time, both of her dogs were overweight, you
Yeah.
know, and so like I think there's just a that's a whole different topic, but the lack of education on, because like their weight comparison and their weight gain and weight loss, the percentage of that compared to how much weight we would lose or gain, people don't really know that. Like they think that like, oh, he's just a little chunky. No,
No.
he's almost the equivalent of like being 300 pounds as a human.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, that does bring up another important function in regards to supplementation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, every supplement company out there, just go on to Amazon, do the search, do whatever you want, and look at the dosage recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
They're all based on weight.
Mm.
Why are we basing their dosage on weight? A dog's internal systems are the size of our breed specific. It's their DNA, it's their genetic makeup. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A 150-pound Labrador who's supposed to be 60 to 65 pounds should be getting a 60 to 65-pound dosage, breed specific to the
Mm-hmm.
dog, not dosing them for 150 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or you're wreaking havoc on their system. So our products are one scoop, one delivery.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how much it is for a small to medium breed size dog. This is how much it is for a large to extra large size dog,
Mm.
because we don't want to over supplement.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like you said, you're very right. The market is confusing. It's everybody is out there, you know, just saying, take this, take this, take this. You go to a supplement company's website and they have 100 products. Oh my gosh. And 90% of them overlap, carry, you know, maybe carry all the exact same ingredients, interchanging one or two.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Right? You know, we need to, and I think that we are. You know, I do want to have some light on this in the positive way, that I believe people are doing it now. People are thirsting for information,
Mm-hmm.
thirsting for knowledge, and wanting it accessible to them. And so we at PetMatrx are really trying to bridge the gap of education as well, by putting our best foot forward. We do educational seminars, amazing podcasts that you're having me on here, Connor. I appreciate that, so that we can continue to just spread the word of education, so that we can empower people to make the right decision for their dog, their specific scenario.
Mm.
So,
I have one more question to ask, but I actually just thought of this just because I remember when we talked off mic here. You told me this, and I guess I'd like for you to share with with the viewers your experience. You know, this isn't just a company that like is just doing guesswork. From what you've shared with me, is you had a control group in that you guys tested your products on. Explain that a little bit, because I think that's very different. Not many people, not many companies would do that.
Well,
So,
yeah, definitely. When we started, um, PetMatrx as an idea 2 years ago, we sat with the lab, and like I said, we reverse engineered, and we said, okay, these are the three products. This is what we believe based on our research is going to be helpful. And we're not just going to come to market. So what we did was we ran a 50 dog focus group. These dogs ranged in everything from age to breed to what their sex was, everything. We just took dogs of all ranges, and we put together a massive questionnaire. Basically, we were running almost our own little case study, because we asked very specific questions: the ailments of the dog, what's going on, and then we monitored them over the next 45 to 60 days to see exactly what kind of responses the dogs were having. And that was very important to us. We're not just in this. Again, I am the CEO, the co-founder, the resident citizen scientist here at the company. And so I'm the business end of it. And of course, I'm in the business, for us to be successful as a company. But our success, we believe, will come from, empowering all of the dog owners out there. Soon it will be cat owners. We're going to be coming out with a feline product, hopefully by the end of the year, moving into the avian space as well as the equine community.
Very cool.
But the understanding that these products were going to do exactly what we knew they could do, because we were using it on our dogs already. We already knew. So now we just wanted to make sure that we weren't being biased, and looking for it to work, right? You and I, we did talk about how dogs don't have a placebo effect, which is amazing. Your dog is either feeling it and getting better, or they're not.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that to your audience, that we do need to reframe how we think of supplements. Okay. Supplements are a long-term goal. It's the long play. We want our dog around for a long period of time. So in order to do that, you don't start helping your dog with the supplements the moment you start seeing they're having problems. The wonderful thing about dogs is we know, based on their breed, maybe based on their parents, how things that they have within their genes that they're susceptible to in the future. So we can take supplementation and start using it as preventative measures to fill in these gaps of what we know we're going to see as a problem in the future. If your dog needs a cure today, go to your DVM, go to your vet, and get the help that you need today for your dog, because supplementation is the cure for tomorrow, right? It's not necessarily the cure that your dog needs today. So understanding that, also help people in the focus group understand that, look, this is a preventative measure that you're taking for the future. Now, a lot of the dogs, because of the delivery and it going directly to the cells, we were seeing results within weeks. People, 13-year-old dog who was lethargic, didn't want to leave the couch anymore. All of a sudden, they got their puppy back. Allergies, their dog, it's just major problems, inflammation of the skin. The quercetin within our Protect product is nature's basically allergy, antihistamine. And so it works great. The problem with quercetin, again, and for those of you who don't really think about quercetin, remember that big phase that everyone was going through with, what was that juice that everyone was drinking for the quercetin? Oh my gosh, I forgot the name of it. But anyways, quercetin was the active compound that everybody really wanted from this juice, and so because of its antihistamine benefits. But again,
was it grapefruit?
No, it wasn't grapefruit juice. I'll think of it, and then I'll say it in the middle of nowhere. Oh man. So, but anyways, yeah. So the focus group was a a key component to us making sure that it was everything that we believed it was.
See, that's very cool. And as I don't know for our listeners, but for me, I can tell that you obviously care about dogs. I don't think we mentioned it here on the podcast, but off air, I believe you mentioned that PetMatrx is giving back to the dog community as well, not just through supplementation and building this amazing brand and this product. So tell the viewers a little bit in what ways you guys are giving back to the dog community.
Well, like I said, this whole journey for us is much more than a business. And so it was important for us to really make the biggest impact that we could within the dog community. And so we partnered with a very well-known rescue adoption agency known as Wags and Walks. Some of your viewers might know about them. And what we're doing is we're not just partnering with them and collaborating. They saw our science. They know exactly what we're doing and how it can help, because when they get a dog, a rescue, these dogs, they've got issues, they've got traumas, and they need help. A lot of them need emergency veterinarian help. And so they saw that our products could help. So what we're doing is we're actually donating every month to their rescue as well as to their foster parents the products so that they can become part of their daily regimen to help in their healing process and to, at the end of the day, get them as adoptable as quick as possible. As people come up and they're looking for a dog, they're trying to get that connection. And for dogs that have traumas, PTSD, it's difficult, a lot of times. So if we can help a dog get out and of the rescue and adopted faster, then that just brings us a lot of joy and happiness. So we're excited about that partnership. We're actually meeting with our medical team next week to get them caught up on the science of how everything really is working, but they're excited about it and we're extremely excited.
I'm excited about it too. But that's awesome. Very cool story. Well, to wrap up here, why don't you share with everyone where they can find more about your brand and your company?
Perfect. And you know what? It was elderberry juice.
Elderberry. Well, I still take it when I get sick, but
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And the reason you're taking it, it has other amazing things in it, but the main active compound in there is quercetin.
Now I know.
Quercetin, now you know, right? And so we're giving that to the dogs.
Perfect.
Within Protect. One other thing, if I could just take a minute, we didn't talk about the peptides a whole lot. One thing that you'll notice within our products that hopefully people will go and check us out at www.petmatrx.com. It's important to know there's no I in matrix. It's just RX. So PetMatrx.com. And so our cell matrix delivery, as we encapsulate and protect the compounds to be delivered to the body directly to the cells, we also use this to protect peptides. Peptides are really what is known as the future of health and medicine. They are strains of amino acid chains that are highly beneficial. We call them super ninjas here at PetMatrx because they have very specific purposes. The problem with peptides is that they're very fragile. If you'll notice, most peptides have to be injected directly into the bloodstream so they can bypass completely the digestive process. Taking peptides orally basically does no benefit because they're metabolized too quickly. The body gets it and boom, they're gone. So now imagine an overactive metabolism, metabolic rate like dogs have, 7 to 10 times faster than ours, and peptides are just bam, metabolized and don't even reach the cells. We use water to protect the peptides and deliver it directly to the cells. So it works as a protectant, and it also works as a bonding agent to bypass the digestive process. So when you start looking at some of the peptides within there, like KPV, BPC 157 and whatnot, these are things that no other pet supplement company can even work with. Because like I said, they don't have their own lab. They're just going to other manufacturers. So if you can't tell, I'm extremely passionate about what we have here. And I'm passionate and excited to share it with your audience. So please visit us. If you want to reach out and contact us, you can reach us through the website. We answer questions. We'll help you out. Our director of education, Tanisha, is always available for if anybody needs a consult. And so, yeah, we're here. And if you want to download our free magazine, you can do that at www.petmatrx with no i.com/magazine. And you can download our free magazine, and hopefully you'll find value in that.
Perfect. I will definitely, I'll get that link to you from you as well, and I'll put it in the show notes and the description on YouTube. So, but we can all tell you're passionate. I'm very, your energy is contagious. So I'm very excited to see how your company does. And I think, as a dog owner, I want to thank you for the time and effort that you spend on trying to change the landscape and also just bring us closer to the future to where we have long living dogs, with us in our lives. So thank you.
That is the idea. And thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that is our goal. That is our mission, is to help you live a long, healthy life with your companion, because we understand that they're more than just a dog. They are our companions, they're our family members, and heck, we want to keep them around. So we're glad to help. And I appreciate you sharing the word and having me on, Connor. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you find our content interesting, if this changes your perspective on the dog space and your perspective on dog ownership, please be sure to share this podcast with your friends. With that, I hope you all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.